Well, I was born in Castle Caulfield and brought up in the Presbyterian church there. And the verse that the Lord spoke to me on was Jeremiah 29, "And you shall seek and find me when you search me with all your heart." Met Sheila when I came back from Africa after being a volunteer teacher, and we got married within 6 months.
When we met, we started off, I was teaching in Derry and Clive was in Strabane. Then he went to the Baptist College in Belfast for 2 years.
I was ordained in May of 1975, so it'll be 50 years this year since being in the ministry. One of the things that certainly concerned me was the introduction of laws that might restrict the preaching of the good news about Jesus. So we did plan 4 outreaches where we wanted simply to share the message of the gospel. And we sang, we worshiped the Lord. The only sign that we take is the sign of the cross. We were there simply to show that in the highways and byways we are able to talk about Jesus, to witness for Jesus. There was no mention of abortion at all. On the 7th of July, we went to Coleraine and we told the police each place we were going, we interacted with them, told them what we were doing. One of the most favourite verses, well-known verses from the Bible, John 3:16 was taken as my text. "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but should have everlasting life." It's the hope that we will spend eternity with Jesus in heaven. So this is why sharing God's love is absolutely central to all that we do as believers. We were a bit overwhelmed by the fact that we had a number of police cars going up and down past us all the time. And then a number of police got out of their cars and they stood there, obviously listening and filming what we were doing. There were 3 of them that walked across the street and stood in front of us before Inspector O'Brien interrupted and politely asked us to stop. He said that he did believe, after I refused to move, that I had broken the law on safe zones. I couldn't understand this, but I was cautioned and I was then told to leave.
When I heard that it had happened in Coleraine, I wasn't really shocked. I really still feel and felt that it was a bit over the top, to be honest.
And that was it until whenever the summons came through the door that I was to appear in Coleraine's Magistrates Court. I have never been cautioned or arrested before in my life. We need the Christian Institute and other organisations to be out there amongst the churches, educating them to the fact that we are in danger of losing some of the most very basic rights which we have enjoyed as believers for hundreds of years. This is a growing intolerance of the freedom that we have to tell people about Jesus. And I also believe with all my heart that if the church doesn't waken up, that this is not simply the end, this is not just the issue of preaching in a so-called safe zone. I think that I've always believed that the freedom that we have to preach within church buildings, then to preach outside the church building is just an extension of the freedom that we enjoy to preach inside the building. We believe with all of our hearts there should be no no-go areas for the gospel. As a Bible-believing Christian, we don't want special treatment, but we do cherish very much the freedom that we do have.
I just hope it would bring to the attention of people exactly what's happening, because I feel the majority of people in Northern Ireland are not aware of how this is restricting everybody's rights, not just ours, but really it'll restrict everybody's.
This is about the freedom to give everyone that we come into contact with the opportunity of hearing the gospel. At the end of the Gospels, you always find this command of Jesus, it's go. And what a privilege, what an honour it is to be able to preach that message.
For more great content, like, subscribe and hit the notification bell.